Welcome to the directions for our second to last project for the year. And what we're going to be doing is creating what's called an annotated timeline. And we're going to be looking at immigration and relocation history in the U.S. We're going to focus prior to U.S. involvement in World War I. All right, so the date for that is 1917. So you can go from the beginning of the Republic to 1917 in terms of important dates. Okay. And a timeline is a skill historians use. It's how we keep track of the chronology of events, which is really kind of a fancy schmancy way of saying it's how we keep track of what event happened when and where events happened compared to each other. Okay. So a simple timeline, which you're probably already familiar with, is one in which there's just dates and event names, and they're put in order by date. Okay, we're going to take that and we're going to go a step further and create what's called an annotated timeline. And annotated timelines contain more information. So at its simplest, an annotated timeline can look like this, right? So this is actually the website I'm going to give you to do some additional research, but you can see we've got the event here, we've got some kind of an event name, and then we've got a short summary that tells me a little more information about what happened. That's an annotated timeline at its simplest. We're going to actually go a little bit further with it in that we're not only going to have the summary, but we're also going to include a section about why the event is important in terms of understanding immigration or migration within the U.S. or relocation. Okay. And we're going to add some pictures to it. So it's going to be a little bit of work, but shouldn't be too bad. Okay. So that timeline I was just showing you, by the way, this is the handout with the directions. That's the link to that timeline right there. And I'll put it into the assignment as well. So there's a few different ways you could organize this and a lot of different things you could use. I'm going to show you two that it would be relatively simple to use. Okay. And usually when I do an annotated timeline, I do it in Word just because it's simpler, right? And because we're going to have 5 columns, I'm going to change the orientation. I'm going to make it a landscape orientation, which means that it's like having your paper horizontal. Okay, so the long side at the top. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do, oops, there we go. I'm going to go to Insert, and like I said, I'm going to need at least 5 columns. And I know I have to have 12. It's going to let me do 8, and then I'll add a few more in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to label each column. Okay. I get OCD about format. You don't have to. I'm just one of those visual people who likes my formats done in a certain way for my own information, right? So once I've inserted my table, I can start just filling information in. So a brief summary, importance, and picture. Right, and then I just go down the way. And the nice part about Word is each one of these boxes I can type into as much or as little as I need to. It'll just automatically increase the box size if I need it to. And then I can also add pictures, right? So again, if you've never done this before in Word, you're just going to go back to Insert, click Pictures, and if you have pictures saved already, it'll let you pull them from wherever they're saved from. If they're online pictures, it'll let you search. Okay. And once you do that, let's just say, I'm just going to go Jacob Rees, How the Other Half Lives, right? Which is a book about immigrants and how they're living in tenements. And I don't know, we'll just pick that one right there. Okay, see down here where it says insert and then it says a 1? That 1 is how many pictures it's going to insert. So as soon as I do that, it's going to add my picture in. And then if I want to, I can resize it using those dots on the corner. So I can actually make it smaller, right? And then I can move this, right? This is my footnote, my credit. So it tells me what little the system already has on it. And then as soon as I do that, right? And I can adjust these, by the way. See how that kind of turns into 2 lines with arrows? I can move them over if I need to. Why is that being so wonky? There we go. For whatever reason, this has an extra frame around it. But at any rate, that's how I can insert a picture in a table. So that's one format. And then in these, I can just type. Let's see. Let's see. IS apostrophe. Right, and you can see as I was typing how it just automatically went to the next line. Right. So that's how that would work if you did it in Word, and you just would have all of the events that you would put down. You would want to, I will say this, it'll be easier if you put your events in order first before you fill in all of the other information, because this format doesn't lend itself to correcting things quite as easily. On the other hand, if you wanted to use PowerPoint, this would be another great way to do something like this. Right? And then you're just adding slides. Right? So you're adding as many slides as you need. You can add text. Right? You're going to actually properly capitalize things. I'm going to now because now it's driving me nuts. Okay. And this has to be capitalized because it's a book title. And actually, truthfully, a lecture series. And then I can add more information. I can also insert pictures the same way here. Right, so I just go to that insert menu and I pick the pictures. For this, I would actually put the event title up here, and then I would just put the dates in parentheses afterwards. I think his book was published in the 1880s. Okay. Nice part about PowerPoint is that working on this menu over here on the left, I can change the order of slides just by dragging and dropping them. So then I don't have to do that initial organization work before I start entering information. I can just enter the information, then I can fix it afterwards. Okay. Some other quick reminders. It does need to be in order by date. It's not a timeline if it's not in order. Okay? That's a firm thing. You gotta put it in order. You will absolutely lose points if it is not in order, even if all of the rest of it is good. Right? Even if you've got awesome information and cool pictures and it looks great, if it's not in order, you will lose points. Okay? You do have to include that extra information. What happened? Why does it matter? Okay. You absolutely have to include that. Again, you'll lose points if they're not included. Okay. If you've got any questions, if you need any help with anything, go ahead and let me know. And otherwise, I will see you later.